Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Herbie's Community Cooking Corner for November. And wow, we're already into November. My goodness. It's November 5th, 2024. I'm Herbie Allen here with you once again. And coming up, we've got some exciting things to talk about and changes and things like that, mainly to the schedule. So that's going to be towards the end of the show. First of all, I want to say hi to several people. We've got the Keks, Mervin and Nikki helping us out today. So, it's a great one of several power couples we have here on ACB. So, welcome to you both joining us from Pa and otherwise known as Pennsylvania. So, a very warm welcome to you both. Also joining us from Ka, it's going to be Melissa, our special guest. And so just a couple of things, because I understand even apps like Duolingo are reminding people to do this. So why not put my hat into the ring? If you've not done so today, get out and vote. This is your opportunity to determine who is going to be president.
Oh, yes.
And, guys, I'm not going to play politics, but I do have some good news for you. And I promise this is really excellent news. I'm not running for president. So what more could you ask for? Because that would actually be a real disaster. So
You wouldn't know what to do, Herbie.
yeah, you're right. Okay, let's push this button here. Oh, did some nuclear bombs launch? Oh, dear. Sorry, guys. Whoever we're nuking. What? It's its own country? Well, better run for shelter. So, yeah. So what more could you ask for? You don't have to worry about that happening. On a more serious note, just something I want to address a little bit because of what happened last week is, I'm aware that people, when we make comments, that it can be interpreted the long way. So in future, I am not going to suggest to people that they do their own call just because they give good advice on the cooking call. And I would ask that other people refrain from suggesting somebody else wants to do their own call either. If somebody is actually interested and you want to talk to me about it privately, then by all means. But we're going to try to refrain from that type of thing in the future because between myself and somebody else saying that to somebody over the past few weeks that was the wrong they misinterpreted it, which is unfortunate because on this call I do welcome everything, including diverse opinions on how to cook, and partially because I do believe in freedom of speech, partially because, there are people with different needs on here for dietary to religious to allergies, whatever. So, and there are different methods that might be more useful to people, or you might have different things in your area that we don't have in this area. So there can be a number of reasons. So, that type of thing was never to put down anybody, but and I think some people do have enough material that because you can think of things well beyond the scope of what I think about. So, that was all that was ever intended by such a comment, but unfortunately, yeah. So in future, I will try to refrain from those type of comments, and I will hope to ask that everybody else does on this call as well. So.
I was gonna say, like, if anybody wants to interested in the call, you guys can text instead, because that way you can talk private, because it's
exactly
not good.
All right, so enough of my yakking. We're going to turn things over to somebody that made their debut on this call, not as a guest facilitator, but as constantly asking me to make dulce de leche cake. So I did. And now here they are, and we're going to hear about a lot of her favorite recipes, and that would be Melissa Moreno. Yes,
all right,
indeed.
I'm here. So yeah,
yes,
good
welcome,
morning.
Melissa.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Welcome to Herbie's Cooking Corner. I did actually 2 recordings. I think I did one, which was from 7 to 7:30, and I think that was the one, and that way I can give Herbie some time to cook his tacos. So,
Yep, so we're going to play the first one you gave me because that was really good. And that's about
okay.
15 minutes long. And yes, after this, depending if we have time, I will be making baked crispy chicken tacos. And yes, Jonathan, I
Okay.
know you want the recipe for that. I did not distribute the recipe just because I didn't know yet if I'll be making them. But I do need to give you all that. And I also just recently got Haley's document. I will be
Oop.
sending that out to the cook and call list as well today. So, I only just got that like Saturday or Sunday, and I've just been busy and have not had a chance to take care of that.
Yeah, I did one that's 15 minutes and I did one that's 9. Is that okay? Or is that.
Yep, we're just going to play the 15-minute one because the 9-minute one seemed to kind of repeat what you talked about in the 15-minute.
Okay.
All right. So then, without further ado, I am going to let her roll.
All right, let's go.
What the heck? That's not what was supposed to play. Oh, okay. Cooking Corner and Coco start with the same letters. That's where I got confused. So,
Oops. I should
oops.
have.
Nope, that's operator error actually. So, okay,
All right.
here we go.
Good
You guys have any
morning
questions?
and welcome to Herbie's Cooking Corner. My name is Melissa and I am so happy to be you guys' facilitator. So today we're going to be talking about recipes, and I'm not going to do that much longer because I have to do it almost around 8. If you guys have any questions, Herbie will pause the recording and he will be able to see if you guys have any questions. So this first recipe we're going to talk about is dulce de leche. It's one of my favorite recipes, and I like to talk about what dulce de leche is. Dulce de leche is some kind of Mexican, also a Mexican milk, which is really, really like a drink. And dulce de leche is a very famous drink. And I also would like to talk about everything. And dulce de leche is a really, really good cake and everything. So it's a very good, delicious Mexican, kind of like a Mexican drink, but it's actually, people can make cakes with everything. And it's also a beautiful thing that we can go into desire. That's what I wanted to talk about today, is also about dulce de leche. Now, another thing that I also wanted to talk about is el champorado. It's like a Mexican drink that you could just put water and also oil and also everything that we can put down, and it's also a very, very good recipe. And not only that, this beautiful Mexican drink is a very, very delicious drink that it's a very good drink and recipe. So that's the two recipes that I want to talk about. And the next recipe that I wanted to talk about, it's also Dutch oven chicken. Maybe one day somebody will be able to make that. Now, Dutch oven chicken, you just put garlic and lemon and also everything that you can also put in there. Dutch oven chicken is my favorite because Dutch oven chicken is a beautiful, beautiful thing that you can make for birthday parties. And also another one that I would like to talk about is a Mexican dish which is called tamales. Now, tamales is a very good masa and chicken, and it's also a very good thing that you can put in there. So tamales is a very good recipe, and it's also a very beautiful Mexican recipe also. There's also another recipe that I also like, is dulce de leche French toast. It's actually made from bread and also like dulce de leche. So if the milk is coming from wherever we can, I just wanted to let you guys know, if there's anything you guys want to make, you guys can. Another recipe I also wanted to talk about, which is also a good recipe. I've been liking this. It's my favorite one. It is peanut butter bars, and they are easy to make as well. So peanut butter bars is a very, very delicious thing, and it's a very, very delicious recipe. So what you do is you just take peanut butter bars and put them as bars. So another thing that I also want to talk about is a beautiful Mexican dish, and it's a very, very good dish that it's also made from another recipe, and I think you guys might like to know that I love like the M&Ms, and they're very, very good, and they are also very, very delicious. So another thing that I also wanted to do is probably the whole thing that it can be. It's also a very, very special thing. So it's a very good, beautiful recipe. And another thing that I want to talk about is another recipe, and it's called peanut butter brownies. So peanut butter brownies is my favorite thing, and it's also a beautiful thing that I would like to talk about. And it's a very, very special thing that I would be a beautiful, awesome thing, and peanut butter brownie bars. So another thing I also want to talk about is pumpkin pie. Now, my favorite thing about pumpkin pie is because I like pumpkin pie, and it's my favorite thing. And I also wanted to talk about the pumpkin pie. My first pumpkin pie I actually made, which was from after Thanksgiving. So then my second pumpkin pie we also made, and it was beautiful, and it had the beautiful glaze on it, but we didn't even put glaze. So my next recipe I'm going to be talking about is a beautiful, also for people that do birthday parties, they would make like chicken nachos. You just use chips, and also everything that we can use. And another thing that I also want to talk about is something else that we can use. So now, if you guys have any questions, I'll have Herbie pause the recording.
All right.
Okay, so this next recipe that we're going to do is also a Mexican hot chocolate, and it's a very special recipe, and it's very, very good, and I really enjoy it. So it's a very special recipe, and I also like to do Mexican chicken. It's my favorite recipe as well. So it would be almost as much as I like it, and it's also a beautiful, beautiful time, and it's a very, very special time, and it's also a beautiful thing that we like to do. And this chicken recipe, it's a very delicious one. I also like to do Mexican macaroni and cheese, and it's a very special thing that I like to do as well. So now what you guys can do is you guys can take the cheese or anything, and it's also you guys can take everything that you can. And about that, this beautiful recipe up on our thing that we like to do, it's like Jello recipe, and it's also a beautiful thing that we like to do, and it's also a beautiful time for us to handle with this beautiful recipe. And another thing that I also want to talk about is this special beautiful recipe that's always with us, and it's also a beautiful time that we like to do, and it's a beautiful thing that it's really cool that I like to do is because of that time. And I also like to do another recipe. It is also a Dutch oven. Well, I don't know if you guys heard albondigas. Albondigas is a special Mexican soup that is very, very delicious, and it's also a very, very special thing that I would like to make in the good future. So I also like to do another recipe. I don't know if you guys heard of, and it's a very special Mexican salad. It's very like it's like a chicken Alfredo pie, and it's very, very special. And everything that we do is we always make a lot of things about Mexican, like kind of just kind of like a special recipe, and it's also a special thing that we like to do. And another recipe that I also like is the beautiful like Mexican. You can also make Mexican pancakes. They're very special, and Mexican eggs. It's called huevos rancheros, and they're very, very good, and they're very, very delicious. So los huevos rancheros, it's a very special thing that I like to do, and it's a very special thing that I like to kind of do everything. And los huevos rancheros is a very special recipe that I like to do, and it's a very special good thing that I like to put inside, and it's also like a beautiful recipe that everybody makes. So this special recipe I also like to do is, it's not only that, it's also a beautiful recipe which is called Mexican bread. And what you do is you also put Mexican bread inside, and it's a very, very delicious thing that it's a very small thing. Mexican bread is a very delicious thing that I like to do, and it's also a very special thing that it's really, really cool. So it's a very special thing that I like, and it's a very cool thing that I always like to do. And it's also a very interesting recipe. Now, I don't know if you guys heard of this. It's called Mexican Jello. Mexican Jello is a very, very special recipe that you guys can put in water and boil. And I know that you guys would like to put that in there. And I just wanted to let you guys know that this is a very special recipe from that time, and also from that. And this last recipe I wanted to give you guys is a very special Mexican chili beans, but it's also like a chili like spicy chili that I like, and it's a very delicious thing that I also like to talk about, and it's also a special thing that it's very, very special. And not only that, this is a very special recipe, and I really enjoy it. So not only that, guys, it's a very special thing that I like to do, and also this recipe that you guys can do at home too as well. All you do is you guys put in like this Mexican like meatloaf, and this Mexican meatloaf is a very delicious recipe, but you can also make meat and all that, and you can also make everything that you can. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys in the next cooking call. And if there's any questions, you can ask Herbie. Bye, guys.
All right, there we go. So that is Melissa's favorite recipes. So thanks for that, Melissa. Okay, let's see if we have any raised hands.
All right. How did I do? Good?
Yep. All right. All right,
I'm
so
not seeing any. Oh, wait a minute. We do have a hand.
All right.
all right.
Lori has her hand raised.
Okay, so I'm new here, so I don't know how it tends to work, but
Yes.
Melissa, can you elaborate what you put in your Mexican hot chocolate?
Yes. So basically, what you do is you put so el champurrado. You could put hot water, and then you put condensed milk and then cinnamon sticks. I was going to mention cinnamon sticks, but you can also put now the flour is like the flour is basically for the chocolate to make it a little bit sweeter,
Oh,
but
sorry.
you can put sugar and also put condensed milk, and you can also put cinnamon. So that's what you do with the el champurrado. So the Mexican hot chocolate, you basically do boil water, and you could just put the chocolate powder. Normally, you don't use it's very sweet, but you can also put cocoa powder in there to make it a little bit more sweet if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Sounds tasty. Thank you.
And welcome, Lori, to the call. Glad you could join us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Excellent, excellent. Anybody else with any questions?
I am not seeing any hands right now.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. We got Heidi.
Heidi, yes.
Do you have a doc that you're going to be sending out with all these recipes in it, Herbie?
If I get around to putting these in document form, then maybe. We will see. I will try. I'll try to put together something.
I wasn't sure if they were already in doc form.
No.
Okay. Well, thank you, Herbie and Melissa and
Thank you,
Lori.
Heidi.
So,
And Heidi is. I know you're going to be working on some pre-recorded presentations as well, and I never heard from you if you've actually given voice memos a try yet or not. So.
not yet. I might, depending on if we get ingredients for that crock pot recipe, I might try that one as my first one, but I do have to play with trying to label them so that I know what they are before going in and playing them.
All right. Well, that's your homework for today.
Still working on it.
Well, that's your homework for today, and you should at least do an experimental voice memos recording, and I'm gonna see something turned in by tomorrow. So, all right, I'm so nice, aren't I, guys?
I had experience with the voice memo, so.
Yep. All right. Any other questions? I'll have to say I was definitely intrigued by the dulce de leche French toast, but the Dutch oven chicken, that definitely sounded good to me. You know, the combination
What I can do is I can send you the recipe. Oh, did I do that? I did.
No, send me any recipes of these that you actually have.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it to you on Safari.
Yep. So send me the recipes that you have, and then I can actually do a further document when I get some chance next year. So that's how these things go. I'll try to do it today, this next few weeks. But all right, very good. Any
other questions?
Yes.
I do have one.
All right.
Yes.
571917.
That is hello 57.
Hello. Hi,
Yep.
Debbie. It's Pam.
Pam. All right.
Hi, Pam.
Yeah, how are you?
Good.
Well, I got a question pertaining to what you just said about French toast. I would like to know how there are a lot of different ways to make French toast. I mean, what can you put in French toast? That could even spice it up. That's a question I want to know when spices in terms of spices and in terms of other things as well.
Well, let's see. Curry, chili powder, jalapenos. Those will really spice
French
it up.
Toast, you don't have to do spicy, but with French toast, you can just do Mexican French toast. You can do like dulce de leche French toast, like Herbie said, just to take condensed milk, take the caramel and this caramel topping, put it in the microwave. That's what you can do for the French toast.
But if you want to spice...
Yes, you can spice it up. You can do chili, Mexican chili if you want. I also like to do tapatio if you want seasoning, whatever. But you can also spice it up with that.
Interesting.
And extra cinnamon also works well for spicing
Yeah,
things up.
extra.
Nutmeg. Those are some spices you can definitely use in French toast. So,
Nutmeg, yeah, nutmeg is good, and cinnamon's good too.
yep.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Pam.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Not hearing anything, then I want to. Yes, Anna, you can offer a recipe. Are you talking about on the call or afterwards? Yes. So I'm not sure what she's referring to here, guys. So we'll
I think
wait
she's referring to what?
to see if
Dulce de
she
leche or
raises her
something?
hand in Zoom or Clubhouse.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
I don't have any hands raised at this time.
Okay.
All right. Well, very good. Well, while we're waiting on Anna's recipe, which I don't know if she was going to give live or what her intention is.
Yeah, she's on Clubhouse. Should I just invite her?
Yeah, invite her up on stage. Yes, let's bring her up.
I think she has a question, does she?
And we can see what...
Okay, I just invited her.
I'm here.
All right, welcome, Anna.
Because I kind of have knowledge of maybe one recipe that we make at home. That's why.
All right,
wasn't really
well, let's
sure.
hear it.
But of course it involves shrimp.
Of course it does. But that's okay. Just because I don't eat it doesn't mean that other people... Anyway, so go ahead.
You heard the ceviche? It's the shrimp salad type thing. But
Oh, yes. Ceviche. Yes. I think
I
I've
love
heard
that
of that.
stuff.
Ceviche. It's a really good recipe. That's what I heard.
Yeah, my thing is I don't know how many of each, but I know you mix you don't cook this the tomatoes, the cilantro, the onions,
Yeah. No. But you
tomatoes,
just put
cilantro,
cilantro in there.
onions, the cucumbers, and you have to chop that all up. And the only thing you cook is the shrimp, and you have to chop everything up and mix it together and squirt a lot of lemon in there. You put that on tostadas and stuff. So
Yes.
I think that's really good.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. You can do that, actually. You can make ceviche. I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Anna.
Some people put avocado on there if they like it. They put that in there. And I like to put ketchup on it as well.
Oh, yes. Avocados are from Mexico.
Yep. They are indeed, but okay, very good. Anna, any other recipe? Any other? Do you have any other
Questions?
dishes that are your favorite that Melissa didn't talk about?
Yeah, the chilaquiles. I love those.
Oh, chilaquile, yes.
And what
I'll
are
talk
those?
about that next time.
That is a dish with eggs in it. It has eggs, and you have to fry the tortillas and the eggs. And we usually put the peppers that we grow, so that makes it spicy.
Yes.
Okay.
But
I'll talk
it's a
about that next
scramble
time.
type thing.
Oh, that does
I
sound
really
good.
like that.
Thank you.
Oh, and definitely cheese. You gotta sprinkle the cheese on there.
All right.
I'll talk about that next time.
All right.
Thanks,
Very
Anna.
good. Okay. All right. Very good, Anna. All right.
Anybody else has any questions or?
Does not look like it.
I'm not seeing a hand, no.
All right. Then I'll turn it back to Herbie.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and good night. No, just kidding. We're going to now make crispy chicken baked tacos. We've got an hour left of this bad boy call, so let's make the most of it. So, how about I actually start by reading you all the ingredients, as I already read through them, just to know what I was doing. Who ever heard of such a thing, right? Crispy baked chicken tacos. These come to us. Recipe reader. I'm sorry. And we are going to need, for the tacos, 1/2 tablespoons canola oil divided, 1 pound ground chicken, 1/2 of a sweet onion diced, 3 cloves garlic minced, 1 4.5 ounce canned chopped green chilies, 1.5 teaspoons chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon dried oregano, 1/2 teaspoon ground cumin, 1/4 cups fresh cilantro leaves chopped, 1 tablespoon lime juice freshly squeezed, kosher salt to taste, freshly ground black pepper to taste, 1.5 cups Mexican cheese blend shredded, 8 flour or corn tortillas warmed. Optional toppings are sour cream, pico de gallo, guacamole, and that's it. So I don't have all the ingredients, i.e. the lime juice or the cilantro. I don't have those. I just have regular paprika, not smoked paprika, so I don't know how much of a difference that will make. But we're going to give this a shot here. So the first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 425 degrees. And then lightly coat a baking sheet with cooking spray. I'm going to do this last. Well, not last, but first thing I'm actually going to do is chop up our onion. So let's talk about this. I can find regular diced onion. I've never really found like a diced sweet onion. At least I haven't. That doesn't mean they're not out there. So we're just going to chop this one up by hand. See, I do use both methods of cooking here. The call.
Heidi?
So, all right, Heidi. Yes.
Go ahead, Heidi.
Might help if my finger got to the mute button. Instead of the lime juice, I'm sure you could use lemon if you had it.
Yeah, and I actually might. But okay, so I'm going to.
As for the cilantro, you might ask Mr. G what a good substitute for it might be.
All right. Well, I think we'll survive without it today, but
yeah.
All right. So I just wet the onion a little bit on the cutting board, so it'll hopefully make the peel come off that much easier. I'm going to cut the ends off. And
I don't want to interrupt you while you're cutting, so
nope,
should
you're
I
good.
Hold the questions or ask them?
I will take questions right now, and while I'm peeling the onion, and actually, tell you what, give me just a second. Just hold off.
Okay.
I'll tell.
Whenever you're ready, Melissa has her hand raised.
Okay, I'll get to you in just a second, Melissa. Let me get this onion peeled first, because I want to talk about that, and then as I'm chopping, we'll get to questions. So. First of all, I'm not happy with the knife that I chose. I'm cutting the onion in half, and that helps the peel come off that much quicker. So there's already one peel off, and nope, the peel is not very appealing. Oh dear. Anyway. So I'm going to just take some of these ends off here, and we're going to put them in the garbage. And let's just briefly talk about how I'm going to chop the onion. So I'm not going to be terribly precise with this, but I'm going to kind of chop the onion into little quarters here. So I'm just getting all these ends off that we don't need. And wetting it has helped with that just a little bit. Okay. And there's kind of like a double layer of ends that I get off. Like you'll see like a thick outer layer. I do try to get that off too. So I'm going to cut this first set of onion in half. And then I'm going to lay 1/2 sideways and cut into quarters and cut the quarters into smaller pieces, and then cut these smaller pieces, turn them lengthwise and cut them in half. All right, Melissa, what have you got for us, hon?
Okay, so you actually do the tacos. You have to cut the onions, and you also have to put the chicken. Now, how long do you bake the tacos for? Whenever you do you do the hard shells or the hard shells or the soft shells?
Okay, good question. And so these call for actual tortillas. So this will be the soft
so that's
shell.
a soft shell.
Yes.
Okay. And so, how long do you bake them for?
I will actually have to go look. I don't recall, and I've got onion juice on my hands, so I will not be looking at this particular moment, but I will take a look at that unless Heidi is able to pull up the recipe real quick and let me know, but I will take a look. We've got more to do before we're even ready to bake them, so it's not been my highest priority to worry about that at the moment. So, very good question. All right.
Thank you. Should I mute myself back up?
Yes, please do. All right. And let's see. We are. I'm just chopping the onion. I'm already done with 1/2 of the onion. I go pretty quick, so that helps with that. Do we have any other questions while I'm chopping? Now's an excellent time for them. Alright, not hearing any.
No hands at this time.
Alright. So, I'm almost done chopping up here, so I'm going to then wash my hands, and I meant to bring my keyboard into the kitchen, but that's okay. I don't think I need to, actually. I think I can just do several of these steps all at once here. We're going to talk about the garlic next. So for me, it is already peeled garlic that I got from the store that I'll be running through the mincer. And I will describe my garlic mincer when we get to it. So if you don't know what a mincer is, or like, what is he talking about? Well, have no fear. I will get to that in just a little bit here. And by the way, so the way I cut is like I have my fingers far apart. I put the knife in between them, so my fingers kind of like act as a guide. Okay. And of course, the tricky part is with cutting the onions too, is once you are cutting them, looking for the pieces that you've missed. And it's almost like looking for a needle in a haystack, but you can, if you're really, and it's one of these things, by the way, guys, if you're just starting off with, you'll get better at with practice. And of course, if you don't care about the onion being sweet, you can just buy already minced onion and save some steps that way. People have different opinions on whether you should buy minced or not, and because of the money you may or may not save. I would just say it really depends on how often you use the stuff. Like, I probably only use minced onion once a week, so I do just fine with the tub, or I'll just get two if I think I'm going to use it twice. I do honestly have to admit it's a time saver, but this is a sweet onion, and I'm probably going to use more than what it calls for, but that's fine. Okay, so now let's wash up here, and then I will go look up what I need to do next. Well, I know what we need to do next is we're going to cook the chicken in the cast iron skillet, actually, with some oil. But I'm washing my hands here. All right, let's go take a look at Melissa's question real quick. She wanted to know how long do we actually bake these for when we're done. Okay, let's see.
Was this my question or was this from
Yes, yours.
someone else? Oh. Oh, yeah, that's the one that I texted, right? Thanks.
So it's saying bake till toasted and crispy, about 12 to 15 minutes. So, that is what we do there. So it calls for a tablespoon of canola oil over medium-high heat. And then after that, we're going to add the ground chicken, onion, and garlic to the mixture. So that is what we're going to do here. And so before we do that, any other questions? Not hearing any? All right. So I'm going to move my keyboard to the kitchen so I can just quickly look up what it is I need to do next. The keyboard, by the way, is out of harm's way of like the cooking and things like that. It is on a separate counter, so no computer equipment will be harmed unless something like goes completely wrong beyond my control, which it should not, except, ooh, I do need to clean the stove burner real quick. That would be a good idea. All right. So, cleaning, making sure you have a clean area to work with is good, because you don't want the stuff to burn or to cause incidental fires or anything like that. So, I just got done last night making garlic mashed potatoes, and I noticed some stuff around the stove that must have boiled off, so they're taking care of that. Okay. Now we need my cast iron skillet here, and I am just looking for where it went. There it is. Okay. Hopefully that was not too loud for everybody. And we're going to get our oil. And vegetable oil, let's talk about that. In case you're new to the call, like Lori is. How do I know it's vegetable oil without needing to scan? So the vegetable oil comes in a bottle that has a neck on it. So that just tells me right away. I do also have olive oil, which comes in a very different, it's like a square bottle instead of a rectangular one. So that is how I immediately know the difference. Alright, I've got out the tablespoon. We're going to measure out our tablespoon of oil into the skillet. We'll probably get some extra, but that's fine. It won't be too much. If you're not good with pouring, then you might want to measure your oil into a separate thing. Okay, let's make sure this pan is centered on the burner. Let's go ahead and turn on my kitchen fan. And we're going to set this to medium-high. And I'm going to put this tablespoon in the sink, put the oil back where it belongs. Also, another trick with oil, if you, for pouring it, is you can also set it in your refrigerator. That will make it thicker and slower to pour out and easier to control. So, just one of those neat little tricks there. Alright, ground chicken. So, this comes in a very different type of container than ground beef does. And it's a plastic one, but it's a proper plastic container instead of a styrofoam one. And has a plastic thing over it, so it definitely stores a bit better. And we're going to get this, alright, it has 2 layers actually. So, I'm just using my fingers to tear off the lid. So, well, not the lid, the plastic covering. And we'll let the oil heat up a little bit before I put the chicken in there, but that's because I know... Actually, I can go ahead and just start adding the stuff, and then we'll stir it all together. So I'm just going to take this container and pour it over, making sure that the plastic wrap on the bottom does not fall into the thing. We're going to have problems otherwise. So I've thrown it and the plastic tray away, and I'm now going to wash my hands because they've been in contact with raw meat. And now I'm going to add in the onions, and they're on my cutting board here. So what we can do is I'm just kind of using my fingers to just go through the onion pieces one more time and break up some of the bigger pieces that I'm noticing that I accidentally overlooked. There. Okay. And I'm just going to take this cutting board and pour it over the pan. And we're going to just set it now in the sink. And next is going to be the minced garlic. Alright, yes, the garlic mincer. So, like I said, I personally don't like to peel garlic, so I just buy it already peeled. It's in a nice little container, and it saves a lot of fuss. You can hear me rattling it. Different stores, it will come in different types of containers. So, for instance, a Kroger, it comes in a round container. H-E-B, which is a local Texas chain, it comes in a square container. And Walmart, it comes in a Ziploc bag. So, depending on your store is what it's going to look like. Oh, Amazon, it comes in actual bulbs, but it's already peeled. Amazon Fresh, that is. So, a lot of variety for the peeled garlic. Alright, so I am going to take it through a mincer. You can also buy already minced garlic if you don't even want to do this part. I find that it does not taste as good as real garlic, so I just don't. And then you have to deal with the water and all that too. But you can buy minced garlic already in the jar. It is in the produce aisle.
It's 10 till, Herbie, just so you know.
All right, thank you, Nikita. And yep. So first of all, yep, Nikki has not had much to say on this call today because you've all been behaved in Clubhouse. Let me squeeze the. So the garlic mincer, it's like a little bowl. It has 2 handles, and you put the garlic cloves in the little bowl thing, and you use the other handle to press down, and there's grates underneath the bowl thing that the garlic will come through. You just hold over the pan or wherever you're mincing the garlic into. And it calls for 3 cloves. I'm going to use a little bit more. Okay, so first of all, for those of you listening on the stream, you're going to be leaving us in just a few minutes. But if you want to continue listening to this call, we are on Zoom and Clubhouse. So I hope you'll join us for that. This call will also be podcasted and uploaded later on. But we'd like to have you join us. And if you do not know how to join us, again, we're on Clubhouse and the ACB Club. Or you can send an email to community@acb.org and ask to be added to the community call list. And just include your name and the email address. And that's it. They'll do the rest, and you'll start getting emails about the calls every day. Probably won't get to days, but you'll have that for future reference next week. But you'll learn about all the great calls that are happening throughout the week. Now, if you're going to stay tuned to Media 5, you do get some goodies later on. It is going to be Unmute Presents with Marty and Michael. That's going to be at 1. And then at 2, you will get the homophone bee today is a homophone call with Mary. And that's what we've got coming up for you on Media 5. And then if you tune into Media 1 at 7, you'll be able to listen to Tuesday Topics, where they're talking about voting. Not who you're voting for, just your experiences voting and issues that are affecting people with disabilities for today. Oh boy, I can't help but think that's going to be a loaded topic, but that's an interesting one. And yeah, so we'll see how that works out, as I'm now going to stir this mixture.
And whenever you have a chance, when you have a hand raised.
All right, let's get to that in just a second. Real quick, next week's cooking call, we originally thought it was going to be Heidi and Nick, but plans have changed. So the cinnamon apple coffee cake, or whatever it is, apple coffee cake, I'm going to be doing that next week instead. So yes, you get me baking next week. All right, so that's just a snapshot. Remember, those of you in the stream, community@acb.org. Send your email in now so you don't forget. And just include your name and email address and say, please, please, please add me to the community call list. And you'll get 6 emails a week, because 1 for the weekend. And that's it. Very low traffic. So nothing to lose there. Okay, Merv. Who have we got?
Deborah.
Deborah.
Hey Herbie, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I just wanted to ask a question about the minced garlic. Did you say you prefer not to use the minced garlic you get from the store?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, because I was going to ask, if you do get minced garlic, like in the container, I would imagine you'd have to keep that in the fridge. Like if you opened it and you've used it once,
yes,
you would have to keep. Yeah. Okay.
But your peeled garlic
sounds
you'd keep in the fridge too. Yes, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Peeled garlic. Would you use that? Would you recommend that?
That is the one I recommend. And then just get a mincer, because that way you get the freshly peeled you get real garlic. That is a lot more better tasting, in my opinion. You don't have to worry about the extra water.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about the peel and all that type of stuff. You know, some people do find peeling garlic therapeutic. And if you're one of those, then more power to you. I personally am not, but
Okay.
all
Cool,
right.
thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. And by the way, folks, just to remind you that we are internationally acclaimed. We've got Deborah, who's from Canada, which is right next door. And then if you just were to travel across a small pond, you'd get to Ibrahim in South Africa. So
Yeah, just top across the border there.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
And I'm wishing you guys all the very best today.
all right, thank you. Don't worry, though. As far as I know, neither candidate has any plans of invading Canada anytime soon. So,
Yeah.
all right. Do we have any other raised hands?
Not at this time.
All right. So, this is definitely turning out to be very fragrant. Okay. So I'm going to lower the heat now so I can start adding in some spices. And, okay, yeah, this chicken tastes pretty cooked to me. Right. Now, of course, this isn't exactly a recipe in terms of, recipes or whatever. So, like, if you want to modify these in any way that you want, I'm going to start by adding in the green chilies. And I opted for a milder green chili because Chanel, my wife, is not a spicy fan. So, that is, in fact, I factor that in, when cooking. If it was me cooking these for myself, it would definitely be a little bit more on the spicier side. Okay, now, who has last seen my can opener? So I need it
It's over here.
Okay. And I know roughly where it is because I just last used it to for the green beans yesterday, and I need it for the chilies today. All right, let's see here. There it is. All right, I knew it had to be somewhere around here. Just looking at my sink. So I'm just cleaning it off. Even though it just had green beans on it, I figure it still should be cleaned for the next thing that I'm going to open. And so the green chilies, this is a 4.5 ounce can, so it's a tiny little can. And does it say anything about them being drained or not? Well, that's why I got my keyboard over here to look. Actually, it does not say to drain them. All right. Yep, actually does say green chilies and their juices, so that makes that easy. So we just have to open the can and pour it directly into the pot. So this is my manual crank can opener that I'm using here. And I'm just turning the little crank till it loosens up, and I have a lid. Yep, I can tell this is it. Well, this is the only can I had out here that, because I just got this can yesterday, so that's how I knew it was my green chilies can. I don't really have, I have one or two other cans similar to it, like olives come in this type of can, but I'd set it aside so I knew precisely what can I'd be using. So that is done. And I'm just washing up here. And I'm just going to not do precise measurements in some of these spices. I'm just going to add them in, but you can be precise if you want. But essentially we need a half teaspoon dried oregano. We need some ground cumin. We need a little bit of salt, some pepper. Okay. And I can tell sometimes I do have some of these spices labeled. For instance, I just found my oregano, so I'm going to add that in. Don't want to add in too much, because that will make it a bit too spicy. But, I could add in steak seasoning. That'll make it interesting, that's for sure. Okay. Allspice, don't need that. And one thing I do find helpful is having spices labeled instead of having to scan them all. But you have to work with what you have to work with. Okay, cumin, adding some of that. And now all I need is my chili powder, which of course I always find when I don't need it. And then when I do need it, it suddenly vanishes. And that's how these things go, I guess. Here we go, I think. Nope, that's Italian seasoning. Oh, really? That's not nice of it. How rude. It always disappears on me when I actually needed it. He must be friends with the Randy Newman, you know, who wrote that song, Just When I Needed You Most. That is my chili powder for you all. Curry? Yay! I could add that. I don't think so. Otherwise, I guess we'll just have to make it do without the chili powders. At least we do have the green chilies in it. And of course, I'm going to find the chili powder once I get off the call. Whoa. I'm trying to be careful not to knock stuff off of here. And, oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, so it shouldn't affect the taste too much. At least I don't think so. So I don't have Mexican cheese. It'll just be, Mexican cheese, I'm sorry. It'll just be regular cheddar. But, okay, what is this? Hold on. I could get my phone out and scan it. And by the way, I have the heat on very low, so it's not really, cooking per se. Okay, it's not chili powder. Alright, we'll make do without the chili powder. What we're gonna do is stir this up a little bit. So I've taken the heat back up to medium. And I'm also using my spoon to kind of crumble the chicken up a little bit. right, let's see. And by the way, it also says to drain any excess fat from the chicken. I didn't notice any extra fat, but... So if you have the lime juice and cilantro, you'll add this once you've transferred the chicken from the heat. So right now I'm just stirring all this up to combine everything.
When you are ready to take questions again, Heidi has her hand raised.
I am.
I have to say, your chili powder has probably absconded with the laundry monster.
Ah.
You know how you go and do laundry and only one sock comes out and the
Yes.
dryer monster eats the other one? I think that's where your chili powder went.
All right. Well, that's good to know. So what I'm going to do is once this is done cooking, I'm going to add it to pour it into a mixing bowl. And I find it really interesting. Like, a lot of recipes will tell you to drain off the excess fat and all that. I think they forget that sometimes that's where, if you do have that, that's where the extra flavor comes from. But I guess I'm not a purist, so you'd never find me running as a Puritan. Oh, dear. Okay. That was a terrible joke. Now this is going to be spicy enough without the chili powder, so I think just by the smelling of it anyway. It's probably just as well. All right. Alright, so I'm done with that, and I'm going to get out my mixing bowl. And I'm going to take my skillet and just pour it into the bowl. I could have let it cool down first if I really wanted to, but no benefit at this point. Okay. Turn off the fan, and going to now add in a little bit of salt. Just a tiny bit. We don't need too much, but and then we'll stir it, like I said. So if you had extra stuff to stir in, you'll do so at this point. Okay, I don't want allspice. I wanted my black pepper. Thank you. Oh, that's sesame seeds. Okay. Cream of tartar? No. Alright, if this doesn't work, I do know where I have some more pepper. Thyme? No. Alright, then I'll just get my other pepper shaker. So, Pepper, you tried, but you cannot hide from moi. You're not friends with the chili powder like you thought you were. Just sampling the mixture, and yeah, it is not terribly spicy, but now let's see. The idea was you could use lemon juice instead, and I think I have some. Let's see. Okay, nope, but that's okay. It'll be just fine without it. What I do have, though, is cheese, and we're going to mix. It calls for 1.5 cups. So you can guesstimate how much cheese you want to use. I'm going to... So this is a package of already shredded cheddar. Again, because I just don't use cheese that much, I have no qualms about buying the shredded cheddar. I figured cheese is bad enough for you anyway, that if they add in anything extra like they do to like cornstarch or whatever, well, you know, that's fine. I do get why people like the actual block cheese though, because I think it can melt a little bit better. And so, but you do have to decide between what is convenient and what works best for you. But cheese is a little bit more trickier than the onions. So I'm just gonna kind of guess what is a cup of cheese, because I can. And all right. I'm going to just use my spoon to kind of stir things up. Now we're going to get to our cookie sheet and baking it. And that's it for that. So basically what we're going to do now is divide the mixture into different tortillas and whatnot. So I'm going to get out a cookie sheet. And I probably could use parchment paper if I wanted. But we'll just go ahead and spray it today. And so our precise instructions, by the way, for anybody that cares, let's see. Sprinkle the chicken mixture with the remaining cheese. So we spread it over half of the tortillas. So remember, this calls for 8 tortillas. So the idea is to make a total of 8 tacos. And then you're going to... So basically what we're going to do is put the chicken in the center of each tortilla, sprinkle it with some extra cheese, and then fold. So it's pretty straightforward, actually. And I'm going to get out my tortillas. I've got flour and I've got corn tortillas. I'm going to use the flour ones because they are a little bit easier to work with, in my opinion. but you can use whichever ones you wish. And of course, you can make the tacos as big or as small as you want. So I might just do 4 larger tacos instead of 8 smaller tacos. So I'm spraying Pam right now. No, not the Pam that is calling into the show, but the cooking spray Pam onto my cookie sheet. And I'm now going to... by the way, how you can tell the difference between flour and corn tortillas. Flour tortillas are traditionally larger, though there are smaller ones you can get. And they are more softer. So I'm going to take a couple out of the bag, and now I'm just going to put some chicken mixture in this taco. And let's see here. I'm going to just layer these right now down and then see what we got left. But yeah, actually I think I can make 8 tacos out of these rather than 4 larger tacos. So okay. So I do like to suggest and sprinkle, put a little bit of extra cheese on top. As soon as I remember where I put my cheese, I think I put it back in the fridge. Or did I not? Okay. Let's see here. I did not. Okay. So I'm just going to put a bit of extra cheese on top of each taco. And just a reminder, by the way, folks, if you have anything you'd like to contribute to the cooking call like Melissa did today, get with me. We're going to have another guest next month, as a matter of fact, so looking forward to that. And you never know where it may lead. You know, Heidi started out as just a temporary guest facilitator from time to time, and now look at her. She's actually the official scheduler for the cooking call, so we never know what... your coming on the call could end up precipitating, so I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with you. I'm just using it as an example of what can potentially happen when you come on these calls. So you never know. I don't even know. It was circumstances that, you know, things change and we adapt with the call. So I'm kind of folding up each shell. And these tortillas, so that's tortilla rounds number 1 and 2. Okay. Let's continue on now with 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, I'm just taking these tortillas out the bag. And I'm going to have to set these down now 2 at a time because... Actually, you know what? I'm just going to make 6 tacos with this mixture because some of these, the way it's divided up, but that's fine for the 3 of us. So I could have made it a little bit... So that's how, because of the way I measure the mixture, it'll be 6 tacos, but that's fine. And then the last thing we're going to do is put a little bit of oil on the tops of these shells. And I'm going to fold these shells up, and I'm washing my hands right now so I can get out the oil. If you have any questions, we're going to have time for you in just a couple minutes, but you can start raising your hand, so you'll get in the queue, and Merv, I will let you know when I'm ready to take them. So...
It is 20 past the hour.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for letting me know that. Okay, so real quick, we're going to bake these, as I said, for about 12 to 15 minutes. And I imagine these are going to turn out pretty good, actually. So, and I'm going to borrow some mixture from one of these other tacos for one of these. Okay. So you can always do like a half cup or something like to get a precise measurement when doing these. So just a little bit of oil for each taco. And I did not know until Travis let us know today on ACB Presents that it's Chinese Takeaway Food Day, or I would have tried to do something Chinese food-wise instead, but... as I was saying, that's how the cookie crumbles. Okay. So I'm going to wash my hands one more time and place this in the oven. And we'll have actually made full use of our hour and a half today. So very good. So after questions, I will take a quick look at our schedule. So I'm just placing the cookie sheet in the oven. Hey Google, set timer for 13 minutes.
Okay, 13 minutes.
That should break it evenly nicely. All right, do we have any questions?
I can do that too. Just say, set an alarm for 7 a.m.
Still waiting for hands.
All right. Well, I can tell these are going to be good. Okay. Excuse me here. Let me take a look at our schedule here. And how did I end up with a bunch of junk here? Let's see. In my mail. Here we go. So, let's take a look at November. First of all, as this is going to be good, so... I'm going to be making an apple cake next week, so I'm looking forward to that. Haley, hopefully you'll be coming back with Mason Jar Breakfast on the 19th. And the 26th is going to be Turkey Talk. That's right. Hopefully you'll be able to gobble up the information on things we can do with our Thanksgiving turkey before and after, including turkey bone broth. So... looking forward to that, as Heidi's going to talk to us about that. And I'll throw in some of my things as well. And
back next week. I mean, next time to get more.
What was that?
I said, I hope I could probably come back. I hope I could probably do another call next time so I could do some more pre-recorded recipes like this.
All right, if you do have some more, send them my way and we'll get you scheduled in. All right, looking forward to December. No bake gingerbread man cheesecake with Heidi, and hopefully it does not run away from them. And let's see, on the 26th, on the 10th, Rebecca is going to be making Christmas candy for us. She'll be a first-timer to the call, so looking forward to having her. Don't know if you're in Clubhouse or not, but I'm going to try to make chocolate almond meringue cookies on the 17th. I say try because this is going to be interesting, as I will be in Washington State at the time visiting my family, so that's always an interesting cooking experience. And Nick and Heidi are going to be making us apple pie coffee cake on the 24th. And we have yet to determine if there will be a call yet on New Year's Eve, and if so, what we're making. I don't know yet how that's going to work, so just stay tuned as there's a lot of factors in, including how they want us to schedule things and all that on ACB community. All right, this is our last chance for calls, questions, calls, whatever it is.
Still waiting for hands. Pam has her hand raised.
All right.
Yeah, that taco recipe, Herbie, really sounds good. How did you come up with so many ingredients for that? And you cook the whole shell, the whole shells when you put it on the sheet?
Yes, because these are soft tortillas.
That's interesting. A lot of good ingredients.
All right. Yep, because these are soft tortillas, so that's why you're cooking the shells. It actually does say for the tortillas to be warmed ahead of time. I don't think there's really, I don't know of any benefit to that. And yeah, all right. But very good. Okay, anybody else?
No hands right now.
All right. Well, first of all, Merv, I want to thank you for doing a superb job of hosting once again. Hope to have you back on future calls, either as a host or as a, if everybody can stay muted here, just either as a host or as a participant, or if you want to try your hand at cooking, let me know. We'll get you
All right.
queued in. And Nikki, say likewise with you. Fabulous job of connecting us and streaming us. And I don't know if either of you cook, but if you do and you want to join us, you know how to find me, or you can get a hold of my secretary, Spider Woman, and she will weave you into the intricate web of our schedule. Very good.
Okay, so you're going to Washington with your family, Herbie. You said then there's not going to be a cooking call. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, there will be a cooking call. It will either be me making. There will be a cooking call. We'll just be making the stuff from Washington State.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got mistaken. I'm like, huh?
That's okay. Well, just yes. So I'll be traveling literally right after the call on the 10th. So originally I thought I'd be baking on the 10th and baking and packing all on the same day, and then you got to shift things around, so I'm not going to be Superman that week. But
okay,
I will be in my parents' kitchen on the 17th making the chocolate meringue cookies of December. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but we'll talk about December when we get to December. But right now, I just want to thank everybody coming today. Melissa, thank you for coming on the call today. And
thank you so much.
Anna, thank you for your contributions as well.
Thank you, guys.
Even though it was shrimp. And with that, Merv and Nikki, you may end the respective rooms.
Bye, guys.